All right, this is, again, like I said, split into two sections. Today we're just doing permutations. Tomorrow we're going to go ahead and do combinations, so please follow along. Fundamental counting principle. When there are m ways to do one thing and n ways to do another, then there's m times n ways to do both. Basically what that means is, looking at these two examples, it says you have 3 shirts and 4 pants. It's asking, okay, that's what I have. How many different outfits can I make? So all you have to do is multiply them. So looking at these questions, just giving you an example, showing you what the multiplication would look like if you had to multiply it. Or looking at the patterns, let's say I had a total number of red shirts. Keep in mind it's 3 different types of shirts, red, blue, and yellow. And 4 pants, let's say I had brown, blue, green, and purple. I want to make different patterns with my outfits. I don't want to wear the same exact pattern every single day. So I could make a total of 12. Red and brown, red and blue, red and green, red and purple. Blue and brown, blue and blue, blue and green, blue and purple. Yellow, brown, yellow, blue, yellow, green, yellow, purple. So that's a total of 12 different outfits that I could make without repeating an outfit. Okay, same thing goes for this example with my ice cream flavors. It says there are 6 flavors of ice cream and 3 different cones. That means 6 times 3 is going to give you 18 different scoops with ice cream cones that you can be offered. Okay, so I could have, I think I said 16, I mean 18. You can have 18 different rearrangements using the 6 scoops and the 3 different cones. All right, factorial. Please pay attention to this. It says for any positive integer n meaning any number, the product of the integers from 1 to any number, n, is called n factorial and is written as n factorial. So please do not say number exclamation mark. It is not an exclamation mark. It is called a factorial. This is how it's stated. The number factorial. So giving you an example of what that looks like. Keep in mind it is any number. Factorial, that's my factorial. Giving you an example here. Let's say I have 3 factorial. Basically, how am I solving 3 factorial? What does that mean? You are multiplying from 3 to 1. So I'm multiplying 3 times 2 times 1. Go ahead and plug that into your calculator. You don't necessarily have to do that. Anything times 1 is itself. So you're just really multiplying 3 times 2. This is going to give me a total of 6. You could also think of it as 1 times 2 times 3, which is the same thing, but I normally go backwards. Okay, so giving you another example, let's say I have 4 factorial. For this one, I'm multiplying 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, on and on and on and on. So same thing, we kind of hopefully get the gist of it. This would give me 24. Yes, you can have really large numbers. If I use 12, 14, 20, I'm going to get a really big number because I'm multiplying everything from that number to 1. Okay, something that you need to memorize is right here. 0 factorial equals 1. Okay, please memorize that. It does not equal 0. This is something that needs to be memorized. All right, permutation. So we did factorials. Now we're going to go ahead and do permutation. Any arrangement of objects in which the order is important. So using permutation, the difference between permutation and combination, which we're going to do tomorrow, please pay attention. I'm going to give you that example. If I have A, B, C, and I say, okay, I have 3 letters. I want to rearrange them in groups of 2. So writing them out, I could have AB, I could have AC, I could have BA, BC, CA, CB. Those are my orders. Okay, permutation order is important. So what does that mean? That means if I'm looking at this, AB and BA are different. Okay, AB and BA are 2 different ordered pairs, if you want to call it. With combination, they would be considered the same. AB is the same as BA. So for permutation, I'm going to have more outcomes, okay, because order is important. Order does matter. Again, BC and CB, those are two different orders. Okay. So looking at these right here for permutation, it says the number of permutations of n objects is given by, this is the formula. They're giving me this amount of objects. How many different orders can I make? That's what it's asking. So I'm going to go ahead and give you an example. Looking at this example, my example would be, okay, let's say I have 5 trophies. And I want to put 5 trophies on a shelf. Okay, how many different rearrangements can I make with my 5 trophies? That's what it's asking. So n is the number of objects. How many objects do I have? N stands for 5. I have 5 trophies in total. So that's what I'm using. So I'm going to have 5p5, which is the same thing as saying 5 factorial. Okay, 5 factorial. And that means, what am I going to do to solve? I'm multiplying 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Super easy. Just plug it in on your calculator. Again, yes, you can do this without a calculator, but it'll take you some time. So plug it in. 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. If you multiply correctly, you should have had 120. Looking at the next one, this one says the number of permutations of n objects taken r at a time, where r is less than or equal to n is given by. So now this is another formula. Now, how am I using this one? Another word problem, using the same one as the previous one, just adding some more information. It says, I still have 5 trophies. But now I only want to put 2 on the shelf. Okay, so n stands again for the number of objects, which is 5. And how much of those objects are taken? R is going to be my 2. I'm only taking 2 out of my 5 to put on my shelf. Okay, so my shelf could only fit 2 trophies, but I have 5. Now I want to know, okay, how many different orders can I make using those 2 on my shelf, given 5 trophies? So for this one, it's going to look like this. I'm going to have M5 P2 equals 5 factorial over 5 minus 2 factorial. Writing it out, I'm still going to keep my 5 factorial on the top over 5 minus 2 is going to give me 3. How am I writing this out? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 over 3, 2, 1. You could write it out this way. Factorial, write my little factorial sign. You can write it this way. Please keep in mind, if I'm multiplying, these are going to cancel out. My 1s are going to cancel out. My 2s are going to cancel out. My 3s are going to cancel out. However, once you get into larger numbers and you're writing them out, you don't have to go all the way down to 1. I could have also written this as 5 times 4 times 3. I'm stopping at the smallest number. Okay, showing my work, and then my 3s are just going to cancel out. So what would my answer be for this one? How many different rearrangements can I make? 20. This one's pretty easy. You're just multiplying. You don't necessarily have to use your calculator. Okay? Questions on that? Now, I'm going to teach you guys how to do it on your calculator, how to plug it in. There are buttons for this. So please go ahead and grab your calculator, the TI-30X-IIS. This is what we're using. Go ahead and look at your calculator. On your calculator, there's that PRB button for probability. Do we all see it? It's right. It's the second column, second row. Okay, second column, second row. PRB. Go ahead and push that PRB button. You're going to see 3 things on that screen. I'll write it out. You're going to see 3 things. You're going to see NPR, you're going to see NCR, and you're going to see your factorial. Today we're just using NPR and your factorial. So how am I using NPR? Go ahead and click clear. When you're using NPR, you have to select the N number first. So for this example, my N number was 5. So go ahead and push 5 on your calculator. Then click NPR, enter. So right now, what should you see? You should see 5 NPR on your calculator. Do we all see that? Okay. Then you're going to go ahead and push 2, that stands for my R, and then enter. Your answer is going to be 20. Okay, that's how you're using your NPR. Now, how am I using my exclamation mark? My factorial. Same thing. You're just going to push 5. Go ahead and click clear. You're going to have 5 PRB. Push the button. Push the arrow to your factorial. Click enter. And then enter again. Okay, so for that, you're going to see 120. Okay, on your homework, on your assessments, on tests and quizzes, you have to show the work. I understand. Ms. Chen, can I just plug it into my calculator? For sure, you can just plug it into your calculator. But what do I have to see work-wise? Because again, you have to show work. I have to see this right here. So please make sure you are not just plugging in on your calculator. You have to show your work as well. So please, again, do not just plug it in on the calculator, show your work. Do we have any questions on how to use the buttons? Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. So using the examples, play with the calculators, use them so you know how to use them for the test. It says, in how many ways can you arrange the letters in the word mouse? How many letters are in the word mouse? 5. All you have to do is just count them. So for this one, I'm going to have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're not asking me to arrange it with a specific number of letters, so I'm just going to have 5 factorial. So we kind of already did this one, but I'm going to write it out. Again, it's in your best interest to write it out. Yes, you could just use your calculator, but if you forget how to use it, you could always just multiply 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and that's going to give me 120 different ways. Looking at B, it says, in how many ways can you arrange 3 of the letters in the word orange? So now they're giving me a specific number to use. But we first have to find the total. How many total letters does the word orange have? 6. So my total number of letters, or whatever they're giving me, is 6. How many am I going to use? 3 only. So again, you have to remember the formula because you have to show work. It's NPR equals N factorial over N minus R factorial. So writing it out, I'm going to have 6 P3 equals 6 factorial over 6 minus 3 factorial. So writing this one out, just going ahead and showing my work, I'm going to have 6 factorial over 3 factorial because, yes, I'm still subtracting. And then I have 6, 5, 4 times 3. I'm going to stop there because 3 is my lowest number. 3's are going to cancel out. And yes, you could easily just plug in on your calculator. 6 times 5 times 4, which would give me 120 different ways. Okay, questions on these two, A and B? All right, example number 2, it says, a band has written 12 songs and planned to record 9 of them for a CD. How many ways can you arrange the songs on the CD? So how many songs do I have in total? Good, I have 12. How many am I going to record or how many am I going to use? 9 only. Plugging it into what I have, I'm going to have 12p9, which gives me 12 factorial over 12 minus 9 factorial, writing it out. 12 factorial over subtracting 3 factorial. This one's going to be a long one. I'm going to get 12 times 11 times 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and I'm going to stop at 3 over 3. Yes, this one's a lot to write out on your calculator if you're multiplying, but go ahead and plug it in on your calculator. You're going to get a large number because, again, you're multiplying all of these. So I'll give you a second to plug it in. Good. Yes, so how many different ways can I rearrange those 9 songs? 79,833,600 ways. Okay, again, you can use this for NPR, or you can plug in this one using your factorial. You could plug in this on your calculator as well. So you can use NPR or you can use your exclamation mark. So for example, for this one, if I wanted to plug it on the calculator, I would do 12 exclamation mark. I would use parentheses just so you know how to use parentheses to separate them. Divided by, so it looks something like this with a slash, open parentheses, 3 exclamation mark, 3 factorial, and close it, and then click enter, and that will give me my answer. So you don't necessarily have to use the NPR. There are some cases where you will only use your factorial. Okay, so once we get into some of those examples, there are some cases, again, that you will only use your factorial. Looking at example number 3, it says, for a town parade, you will ride on a float with your soccer team. There are 14 floats in the parade, and their order is chosen at random. Find the probability that your float is first, and the float with the school chorus is second. So for this question, I'm having a probability. That means I'm going to write some sort of ratio. Keep in mind you will have fractions. Please make sure they're written in simplest form. So first thing I have to do for this is I have to go ahead and I have to find the total number of outcomes. So first step, find the total number of outcomes. Keep in mind my outcome is not 14. Keep in mind also it can be rearranged. So there are multiple different numbers of outcomes. So this is 14, permutation 14 equals 14 factorial. So that's how many different outcomes I can have. Again, you could multiply 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, so on, so on, so on, so on. Okay, that's my number of total outcomes. Now I have to find the total number of favorable outcomes. So if I'm going to be first, my soccer team is going to be first, and my chorus team is going to be second. I'm going to go ahead and take 14 minus 2. That's going to give me 12. So my favorable outcomes are going to be 12 factorial. Now, how am I setting this up? Again, they're asking for probability, so I'm going to have some sort of fraction. Okay, what is the probability? So when you're writing probability, you're going to have your favorable over your total. How is that going to look? My favorable was 12 factorial over 14 factorial. So yes, I'm going to write it out. I'm going to have 12 factorial on top over 14, 13 times 12. My 12s are going to cancel out. Keep in mind when you're canceling them out, it does not equal 0. What does it equal? It's going to equal 1. Okay, so once I cancel them out, all I have to do is go ahead. You could multiply them. You're going to get 1 over 14 times 13 is going to be 182. So looking at it, what's the probability of me coming first with my soccer team and my chorus team second? 1 out of 182. Questions on this one? All right, looking at example number 4, it says find the number of ways you could arrange all of the letters in the word boundary and then 3 of the letters in the word. So this one has 2 parts. So the first part is asking find the number of ways you could arrange all of the letters in the word boundary. What would I do for this one? How many letters are in the word? How many letters are in the word boundary? Just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So just basic different rearrangements. I'm going to have 8 factorial. 8 factorial is going to give me 8 times 7 times 6 times 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep in mind you can just use the factorial on your calculator. 8 factorial. Once you plug that in on your calculator, what would that give you? 40,320 different ways to arrange that word. Keep in mind it doesn't necessarily have to spell something, but it could be arranged that many ways. The next question, or part of this question, then says, then 3 of the letters of the word. So then I'm only using 3. So now looking at it, I'm going to have my N is 8 because that's my total. How many am I using? 3. So it's going to be 8p3. And solving it, I'm going to have 8 factorial over 8 minus 3 factorial. 8 on top. 8 minus 3 is going to give me 5, and then I'm just solving. Again, you have to show that work on your homework. 8 times 7 times 6 times 5. I'm going to stop there. And then this is just going to be 5 factorial. These are going to simplify, cancel out to 1. Multiplying 8 times 7 times 6, or plugging into your calculator, you're going to get 336. Do you have any questions on number 1? All right, go ahead and try the next 2, 2 and 3. Again, you must show work. Do not just write your answer. All right, most important thing for these is you have to remember the formula. If you don't remember the formula, please remember it. It's NPR equals N factorial over N minus R factorial, and then you're solving. So looking at this one, solving for this one, I'm going to go ahead and take 6 factorial over 6 minus 3 factorial. That's going to give me, keeping the same on top, and then subtracting. Writing out what I have, I'm going to have 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 factorial over 3 factorial. These are going to simplify or cancel out. Multiplying 6 times 5 times 4, I'm going to get 120. Looking at the next one. For this one, I'm going to have 14 factorial over 14 minus 9. 14's going to stay here. I'm not solving anything on the top, and this is going to be 5 factorial. I'm going to write it out. I have 14 times 13 times 12 times 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and I'm stopping at 5. This one's going to give me a 5 on the bottom. These 5s are going to cancel out. This is going to give you a large number. If you're multiplying everything together, it's going to give you a large number. My large number is 726,485,760. That's what you should have had for this one. All right, and looking at the last question, it says, there are 8 students auditioning for the main role in a school play. The order of student auditions is chosen at random. Find the probability that you are chosen first to audition and your friend Petra is chosen second. So I'm first, Petra's second. That's what I want. First thing I have to do is find the total number of outcomes. So total number of outcomes. What's my total number? How many students are auditioning in total? It's 8 factorial, because again, they could be rearranged in any order. Second thing I have to find is favorable outcomes. What's my favorable number of outcomes? Me and Petra must be first, so what's left over? Good, 6 factorial. Keep in mind they're asking for probability. It's going to be some sort of fraction. So when you are writing probability, it is favorable over your total. So I'm going to have 6 factorial over 8 factorial. This one, you could plug that into your calculator. Please use parentheses. Or you can just write it out. You can have 6 factorial over 8 times 7 times 6. These are going to simplify again. They do not change to 0. They're going to change to 1 when you simplify. And all you really have to do is multiply 8 times 7. If you multiply correctly, your answer is going to be 1 over 56. That is my probability. If you plugged it into the calculator and you did 6 factorial over 8 factorial, you're going to get a decimal. How do I change my fraction to a decimal? If you look at the F arrow D right above the PRB button, because it's a darker color or lighter color depending on your calculator, you're going to have to click second FD, and then it'll give you fraction to decimal or decimal to fraction. So if you do plug this in on your calculator and you do get a decimal, you must change it to a fraction. Do not give it to me as a decimal. Your directions will sometimes say, including on your homework, change to a fraction or write as a fraction in simplest form. So please make sure you know how to change fraction to decimal and decimal to fraction. Do we have any questions on this slide? Okay. We will continue the rest tomorrow for combination.